So we'll start this out. This is a what was he thinking for the M41 90 Bulldog. Still another great tank, another great match in this tank. As we can see here, another ace badge match. And what we can see from this is that we actually attacked a lot of higher tier guys. And that's really what I want to express about how to actually play this tank when you are lower tiers like this, as you are a tier 8 scout tank. So you get that lovely scout matchmaker. But we'll take a look here. We actually see we did damage quite a few of these higher tier guys, and we can see our damage output was actually quite nice at 2800 for the match with 633 spotting and 14 out of 24 pens. We did thankfully make some credits here, but as we can see, we did burn through a lot of heat ammunition, and we'll go through that in the replay coming up here just momentarily. So we'll start out here, guys. We can see that we are on Ensk, and initially I decided to come over here to the field because of all the tier 9 heavy tanks that have actually a lot of thick armor on their vehicles. And we are starting into the match here quite a little bit. As it is Ensk, we are trying to progress this along here to show that here we have a dead artillery piece that I did put a round into, and an ally did finish off, so that was some of our spotting damage right there. But we can also see this T10 is up here, and on the minimap here we actually have an ST1 that's parallel with him. The artillery was lit by one of our other guys here in the middle. We can see that their scout tank is over here towards the middle of the map as well. So as we progress through this match here, we're going to see I am lining up on this T10 a little bit to see if I can actually get a shot into him, but none of my rounds land from this distance through this cover. When firing at these guys on this map, I would suggest firing some sort of AP or APCR round, as there is a lot of cover on this side that your round will just dissipate into without doing any damage. But we can see here, our goal here is to actually get this T10 to look away from my allies back here. We have a KV4, a Tiger 1, and a 4503 against a T1, or I'm sorry, a T10 and an ST1. So these guys don't have that great of a chance to actually pen the front of this T10. The KV4 does, and the 4503 does. This 4503 is a new premium tank at tier 7. It's got a great gun on it, great gun handling and statistics, but very thin armor. So what I'm trying to do here, attacking this T10 and being this aggressive against this guy, is to try to get him to look away. And thankfully, if he doesn't look away, I can put some shots into him. Now, unfortunately, with the shot mechanics here, going through a wall, that eats up 25% of your penetration, while then going into the side of the T10, we can actually see the mark right here in his spaced armor right above my mouse cursor. So it did no damage, and as I'm backing up here, I realize that yes, I am coming towards his front armor, so I unlock and try to put it through his lower front plate, but unfortunately that does not go through. So here we can see again, here's this 4503, and he did take a full pen from this T10. Again, it's only 100 millimeters of armor, but it is sloped, so it's about 130 to 140 effective. So he's not completely defenseless, but he cannot take shots from these giant tier 9 guns. We see the ST1 is looking around over here, and I do auto aim on him to try to just get a snapshot off there, but unfortunately it misses. However, these next few shots are taken with some care, and I am using heat rounds even though it is on the side of this guy. The standard AP will just not pen whatsoever, so I do take an aim here on the side of his turret, as that is the weakest armor that he's showing me right now. Our ally right here, this 4503, is blocking his lower front plate, and his upper front plate is just not going to pen either. So I do line up on his side of his turret, but the 4503 does finish off this ST1. Looking over here, I look over my shoulder real quick, and I can see up at the top of the screen, there's the artillery. He's pretty messed up, and there's what appears to be an AFK Stubborn Emil. We have a T-34 going after them, so they should be okay just on his own right here. But then we take another look here. Here's an Oho who is pretty healthy, actually starting to work his way back to the cap. And we can see on our screen here that we have actually pretty much lost the city. So this is going to be on my group's, or the field side's, tactics and strategy and teamwork to actually come through here and win this match. Coming around this corner, I do spot the Mutts, and snap juking on this, I do get him to miss, because that was a little bit of a surprise since he wasn't lit yet. We can see that there's now a 5100 over here to our right, along with this full health T10, but the 5100 not really willing to share his hit points with the team. He actually does back up around this corner, and I come around the side, trying to shoot into the side and rear of this Oho while positioning myself so my front is towards that 5100, while trying to really hug up against this guy so that his team can't really chance damaging me without also hitting that Oho. And I take a look back over here and we can see this 5100 is now crossing the road, whereas he could have really helped his teammate over here, this Oho, if he would have gotten into the fight. But we start grouping up on this 110 here, and we can see that there's a lot of our allied tanks right around here on this T10, so he's actually gonna not last very long if we all focus fire on him. Right there we saw the artillery shot land right here, so I know that the artillery back here, he is right over here, he is paying attention to me and he's trying to take me out because I believe he sees me as a threat. But here we are, we're going to put a heat round in the side of this 110 and finish him off. At this point, I notice this 5100 up here in the corner, and I'm really hoping that he's not paying attention to me or he's on, hopefully on reload. So I cut right, put the building between me and him, and hopefully our allies start finishing up here, and I fire a shot, but unfortunately it does hit the cover, so I decide to go after this artillery who I know is looking for me. And if we can pause right here real quick, we'll take a look around behind us. We see this E75 is over here out in the middle fighting this KV4, who actually does have his front towards this E75, but that gun's not going to have a lot of effectiveness against his armor. So we can also see here, if we take a look to our right side here, here's the 28 prototype fighting out with this Mutz. So the 28 prototype should win this, as the Mutz has not really enough mobility or armor to deal with the capability of that T28 prototype. But we'll come around here, finish off this batch shot artillery, and I'm going to come up behind this 5100 and sort of just block him to try to keep him from coming behind cover again so my allies can kill him. I will speed up here a little bit more, and we can see here's the Mutz. He's now down to 175 hit points while our T28 prototype is full health, and the prototype just takes him out. So we have yet to deal with this E75 and the 4503 up at our base just side to our 7 Emil. I'm going to try to put all of my rounds into the side as the E75. Now again, this is twofold. He's either going to take damage from me or he's going to turn to me and my allies are going to start taking him out. So here he's got that over the shoulder look, and this is a look that you as a player should watch out for. He's looking over his shoulder because all camera angles are up above your tank, so he's looking over his shoulder, and that puts his gun down, and then I believe he freezes his turret here. But as we can see, we're almost loaded at this point, and I have so many different targets that I can shoot at. I can shoot at the side, his rear, the side of his turret. All these rounds will go through with this heat round, and this actually does finish out a nice 4-kill match against higher tier targets. Pretty fast paced, but not entirely. During the match it'll feel faster. Afterwards, while talking about it, it feels a little bit slower, but that is all part of getting into the zone. And thank you for everybody for coming with me on this What Was He Thinking video replay of this M4190. Again, great tank. If they ever put it on sale again, I would highly suggest getting it.